We're in the month of April, and we're talking about the month of Fools. And tonight we have a video fool, and we got Pastor John Hateful Hagee, and he's saying that the blood moons are a sign from God. So we're going to give you that, show you that video here right now.
The Bible speaks of signs in the heaven. What does it mean? What is the prophetic significance? Is this the end of the age? And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. I believe that the heavens are God's billboard, that He has been sending signals to planet Earth, and we just haven't been picking them up. I'm going to walk you through 500 years and show you how God is literally screaming at the world, I'm coming soon. The coming 4 blood moons points to a world-shaking event that will happen between April 2014 and October 2015. Jesus said in Mark 13:24-26, but in those days the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light. Then they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. That verse describes a time in the future when the sun and the moon will eclipse at the same time. And God sends planet Earth a signal that something big is about to happen. He's controlling the sun and the moon right now to send our generation a signal. But the question is, are we getting it?
God, this guy's a fucking amazing. Amazingly stupid. All right, the best part about this is I did a little research on this, and there's even Christian groups out there that say Hagee is so fucking full of shit. It's not even fucking funny. The thing is, he's using a astrological event, which we know when it's going to happen because, math happens. Math, we know where the planet's going to be, and we know where the moon's going to be, we know where the orbit's going to be, and we know how often this happens. And there's this one website, and it's a Christian website. Yes, it's a Christian website. And he said, this guy is even saying that Hagee is a lunatic. And if anybody actually out there believes this, is also a lunatic. Hagee is just trying to gather this blood moon thing to try to either, one, try to sell his book, and two, to scare the stupid into giving him money. Don't fucking buy it. It's bullshit. I'll just give you a couple quick reasons. There's 7 reasons on this page, but I'm just going to give you a couple. He's taken this segment, this verse from Joel 2:31, and that's where it says, the moon will turn to black to blood, and the sun's going to be black. But if the sun is going to be black, there's no fucking Earth anymore. It doesn't matter what color the moon is because there's no moon anywhere. You're not going to see it because the moon's not going to be red after that anyway. The thing is here, that this has happened a lot. This is not something that's happened just one or twice in a lifetime. This stuff has been going on since early AD, and it's a total line of garbage. Krista, your thoughts?
Yeah, Scott's full of shit. I mean, he's using scare tactics, to get money, basically, is what it is. Yes, the Bible does talk about it. It's interesting now to see, we were just talking in the chat room, it was pouring down rain here when the eclipse and the blood moon happened, and I was so upset because I had waited for so long to see this, and we weren't able to see a thing, but we watched it on the NASA channel instead, which was a close second. And to hear these astrophysicists and all these scientists and people explain the reason that the moon turns red and why this happens, back then they would not have understood that. Mm-hmm. And then that would have been a scary sign. But this fella, I mean, he's not ignorant. He knows why. He's doing this for gratification.
Mhm.
That sounds terrible. Not wanking, as the chat room's saying.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, he needs to go more by the biblical signs about God says that nobody knows the end.
Yeah.
And if you're a true Christian, I believe that's really more the way to go. And also, it's easier for an elephant to get through the eye of the needle than a rich man to get to heaven.
An
So
elephant?
he's going to have
I don't remember there being any elephants over there, but it's just the fact is that the sun is coming through the atmosphere. It's blowing through the atmosphere just at the right angle, and that's why the sun shows up like that. It's really kind of interesting how that goes.
It's camels through the eye of the needle.
Yeah, you said elephant. Yeah, it's camels. Well, that's what it says in the verse. It's camels, although camels weren't.
Sorry, people.
That's all right. Your true Christian side is showing, Crystal.
You know, atheists know the Bible a hell of a lot better than we do.
Yes, we do.
I will never, ever, ever debate one of y'all.
Yeah. Dave, your thoughts?
This is absolutely absurd.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm convinced that the dude is just trying to sell his book. It's called Four Blood Moons. It came out in 2013. Wow, he prophesized these blood moons. How about that?
Yeah, he prophesized it. Oh.
Wrote a book using data that came from scientists.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neat how that works out.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch the blood moon on NASA's page online. They reported nearly 26 million views.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many of those people were raptured. Probably
0.
The fuck I'm still doing here then, damn it.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, I believe he's saying that there's a whole period of time because there's 4 blood moons this year.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole period of time, somewhere in there, a pretty vague prediction, but somewhere in there, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Interestingly, if it does happen, I recommend that you go to either Daystar TV or Trinity Broadcasting Network because they do have cameras that are currently set up at the Mount of Olives. So when Jesus does return, you can watch it live on the internet.
Right.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's a live video stream going on right now, 24 hours, all the time.
No shit.
Yeah. We talked about this on a previous show, actually.
Oh,
Yep.
man, I missed that.
Oh, yeah. So if it does have... I wonder how many views they had there of people who actually believed Hagee and his jaw-droppingly stupid predictions.
Right.
I'm convinced that this guy is just... He can't believe this crap.
No. What's funny is that he's working off of, like you said, Dave, off of models that we know of already what's going on. And he's using this to fleece the gullible.
Well, yeah, and he's using the ancient understanding of things as a basis to create a hoax and a false stir about it. Not only that, the Bible expressly says that no one's going to know the date of the rapture. Matthew 24:36 says, however, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself.
Right.
Only the Father knows.
Right.
So anyone who ever makes a prediction about this is immediately contradicting their own doctrine.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was saying, oh, something big's going to happen. You know what? Because he's a big fat fuck. You know what's that thing's going to happen is he's going to have a fucking heart attack, and it's going to be happening on the stage. His heart's going to explode out of his chest, and he's going to fucking die right there on the stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of logical fallacies, the whole basis of this is obviously a ancient post hoc ergo propter hoc correlation of causation fallacy. People saw that it rained when there was a certain astronomical event that occurred, and so, they happen to be dancing at the time, and now they do rain dances for astronomical events to occur, so that it rains, and so that it does this. They associate something that happens once with an event in the ancient world, and all of a sudden it becomes a predictor of something that's going to happen in the future. And it was easy to pull the wool over the eyes of people who were primitive.
Oh, yeah.
And nowadays we're educated. We've moved beyond this.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, you'd
understand.
think we have.
It's the year 2014. Like, we understand what causes eclipses. We understand we're able to, through science, predict when these events are going to occur.
Right.
When the Bible was written, when the Old Testament was written, when the New, I mean, any of that, when that was written, the people who wrote it had no clue how to predict when something like that was going to occur.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, you're right. The people back then, they were uneducated. They didn't understand all the stuff now. And I know you keep saying it's 2014, but these people keep preaching like it's 1014 or 1514. Like they think that the world is going to. They're trying to tell these people out there that's in their flock, as it were, that. Well, the God is coming back, so make sure you give us all your money so we can prepare for God. And it's downright despicable and disgraceful.
Right, and graveyards all over the planet are filled with people who believe that Jesus was going to return during their lifetimes.
Yeah. As Joe would often say, Jesus is coming back in my lifetime, said 7 billion dead people.
Yeah.
7 billion dead Christians, so... Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely absurd, and that's based upon Scripture as well, where the people who wrote the Scripture, a lot of those prophecies were supposed to happen within those people's lifetime.
Right. That's exactly what it meant. When Jesus supposedly said, because of course I don't believe Jesus actually existed, but he said that he was going to return within their lifetimes. He was speaking. When he supposedly said this, he was speaking to his followers who were alive with him on that day, in that timeline when he was supposedly alive, not for all these people after the fact. People who say that God's coming back at any time now, they're misinterpreting it and they've got it completely wrong, but they're using this as a con game to fleece the stupid.
In their defense, how do you misinterpret something that's an interpretive text in the first place?
Oh yeah, supposedly yes. I get you
like
there.
Misinterpreting poetry and this and that. It's designed to be a mirror of your own thoughts and a reflection of yourself, and that's kind of how those texts are written. So that you can interpret that, you can associate yourself with it. It's written within the context of the narrative that your intentions, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations are built into feeding what it means to you. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you create your vision of what God is and what these stories mean to you. And that's why we have 38,000 plus denominations of Christianity.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a valid point, is that people, when they perceive God, they did this, we're going to kind of go off topic here a little bit, but when they put people in an MRI and they said, think about God and, give me your opinion on these subjects. Now, what do you think your God would say about these same subjects? And they said, well, God would say this, God would say that. And it came from the same center of the brain that where they thought there was. So their God is actually what's in their mind, not that any God is actually out there saying what's going to actually happen. This is what they perceive it to be. This is as themselves. Because they are projecting their desires and their beliefs in that perspective, not what they think that their God is, because it's this, you are your God. You are the same person.
Yeah, sure. And it's people like Hagee who are taking these ancient ideas and these astronomical occurrences, which a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of people who aren't interested in science, and there's a lot of people who are actually taught to distrust science by people not unlike John Hagee.
Right.
And by teaching people to distrust science, they now have the power to turn around and write books that they profit off of that predict the second coming of Christ because of an astronomical event. And not only an astronomical event, but astronomical event with a spooky name like Blood Moon.
Oh, yeah.
That happens to be going on during Passover week, Holy Week here, and the correlation that's drawn and all of the different things is just absurd.
Yeah. Oh, and not to mention that this last year we had Passover at the same time we had Thanksgiving, something like that. The Jewish holiday and Thanksgiving kind of coincided which doesn't happen for 10,000 years, once every 10,000 years or so. So they probably throw all that in there too. So.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. And this entire thing where April 15th was this blood moon, which is Passover.
Mm-hmm.
October 8th will be the Feast of the Tabernacles. In 2015, the eclipses are on Passover again on April 4th, and the Feast of the Tabernacles on September 28th. So the blood moons for the next 4 of them, which is what he's writing about, they all coincide with holy days by coincidence, and he's able to exploit that because people don't understand the cyclical nature of astronomical events.
Right, exactly. And he is exploiting it. You know, if Jesus had existed and he was alive today, let's just say he came back and he was alive, he would be going out to people like Hagee and these other places, these other, pastors are for profit basically, and he'd be doing the whole money changer thing, throwing them off the tables out the door, as it were. But
Well,
I mean,
you know,
that's just
he's
my
also
opinion of
using,
it.
like, all these earthquakes, all these natural events that we've been having here lately, and some of these subsequent videos that I have seen,
Mhm.
that he's also using that to coincide with the moon to, again, just fearmonger.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you are one that you just listen to TV and you don't go and you look this stuff up for yourself, they're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they're saying in the chat room right now, that the Christian holy days are based off of pagan festivals,
Yes, they are.
which coincide with astronomical events. So it's of no surprise whatsoever that these things are going to coincide with the astronomical events because they were designed to in the first place.
Right, exactly. And Crystal mentioned something there about earthquakes. I just want to kind of touch base on that for just a quick moment. The fact is that there are a lot of earthquakes. People think, well, because this must be the end times because there's a lot more earthquakes. No, they're just being reported more because back a few 10, 20 years ago, we didn't have access to social media. We didn't have the kind of social media we have today, and we get more reports on this. Earthquakes happen every fucking day, everywhere, every day. But back in 20 years ago, no one heard about it until you had it, until something really large happened, like a 5 or more. It just happened to happen somewhere.
Well, yeah, and now we understand tectonic plates.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
So they're natural explanations for these things. Once again, anything that's been explained has turned out to not be magic.
Right, exactly. It's not magic, people. It's just science, and there's nothing else beyond that.